We'll get rolling. We'll start off with Mr. Greg Barnes.
Hey, Ray, welcome back. If you could take us back to the fall when you kind of had in your mind that you were ready to leave North Carolina and move on to the professional game, and then kind of what's transpired since then that led you to make your decision to return.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this year, I had hopes to try and move on to the NFL. That was the goal. But I was excited about what we had as a team last year. I thought we were going to win the conference and really have a great season, a great team. That's what I was prepared for, and it didn't turn out that way, unfortunately. But I made great memories with those guys, and I'll never forget that team. And I played through some pain this year, had some issues with my body, and that kind of weighed into my process on making this decision on coming back, and just kind of with the time lapse and everything, with how quick everything was moving. So that played into a factor, but I'm super excited to be back in Chapel Hill, and I'm really excited about what this defense has and what my room has with the young guys and everything like that.
And Ray, I wanted to follow, you mentioned the injury. In terms of the rehab process, Jeremy had said you likely will miss spring, but be back for summer workouts. What does that timeline look like in terms of, how far along are you in the process, and when do you expect to hit some benchmarks?
I'm 2 weeks post-surgery, and everything has been going very well. And the timeline, they're not 100% sure on how long it will take, but I plan to be 100% ready by summer. By the time summer rolls around, I plan to be fully back and hitting full stride by that time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Dina King, go ahead.
Hey, Ray, just want your thoughts on Coach Schizek, a new scheme. What's his plans for you for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I've had a couple great conversations with Coach Schizek. I really like him as a person and as a coach. I've only been in one meeting with him, and I'm very excited to be part of a four-man front, especially with the guys that we have in our room. I think it will really kind of bring out guys like Miles Murphy, guys like Jahvaree Ritchie, and people like that. I think it will really, really be a big boost for us up front. And his plan for me is play inside. I think if he needs me to play the 3-tech or the shade, whatever one he thinks I should play, I think I'd probably play the shade more. But I would like to be versatile. Whatever he needs me to do is what I plan on doing. So I'm very excited about Coach Schizek and the defense that he's bringing here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Miguel, go ahead.
Hey, Ray. As one of the leaders of this team, do you value your commitment to UNC more than the opportunity to take the leap of the NFL? Or do you feel you need to prove something else before going pro?
I didn't like the way that last year ended and the way the season went. Obviously, I don't think anyone was happy with that. The team, fans, whatever. And I would like to win this division and leave Carolina on a good term and really kind of bring back what Carolina was known for, having a great defensive line and dominating up front as a unit. So I'm very excited about that opportunity and the guys that we have and to be a leader for these young guys and be an example for them, because the amount of talent that we have and just the bodies that we have, the amount of guys that we have, I think could really be a special group this year.
Michael Coe, go ahead.
Hey, Ray. When you made your decision known to Coach Brown, what was his initial reaction when you told him?
He was very excited. He was unaware that I was considering it. He thought I was going to try and go to the NFL and take that pursuit. He was very excited. We had a couple of great conversations, and me and Coach Schizek and Coach Cross, we all kind of talked with Coach Brown and what that would look like with me coming back with the group and everything. And it was great. He was excited to have me back. I'm excited to be back. So I think it was very good on both sides.
Thank you.
Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, Ray, how much did a conversation with Coach Schizek kind of play a role in your decision making?
I think it played a big role. I really like Coach Schizek, and I know former players that have played for Coach Schizek, like Coach Schott, that was part of the team last year, and all the guys that I know that have played for him. everyone speaks of him in very high regard. And I'm a big fan of the system that he runs and everything like that. And his resume, I mean, it speaks for himself. I mean, it speaks for itself. Like, I mean, 2 national championships. I know he took some time away and stuff like that, but I mean, he knows what football is at the highest level. He knows what it takes to win the big games and things like that. So yeah, it was a big part in that, and I'm super excited to be part of his defense.
You mentioned the room. There are a lot of guys there. A lot of them are young. Did you see some noticeable progress from guys like KBJ, who was getting his body in shape, and also from Keyshawn, especially late in the season, that you think will springboard them into the spring and then the summer workouts?
Absolutely. You know, playing D-line, especially coming from high school, and the weird situation they had with COVID where they really didn't play their senior year, and then KBJ coming back from injuries with his body. I mean, the progress they made was unreal. And it's a tough transition coming from high school, just learning the fundamentals, the speed of the game, things like that. So I think they made great progress. And from a term of talent and potential, I mean, it's through the roof with guys like with Keyshawn and Jabari and KBJ, Travis Shaw. Like, there's so much potential there with them. They just got to learn the fundamentals and just keep getting more reps with, like, spring ball, like you were saying, a springboard for them. More and more reps for those guys. They're only going to get better from here on out.
Thank you.
Adam Smith, go ahead.
Ray, just wanted to ask you, you said you played in some pain last year. Like, I mean, how much pain were you in? Can you give us some insight into that? Like, I mean, how hurt were you, or like maybe certain moments in games or certain times of the season? Just what were you fighting?
Yeah, it was tough. It was a funky injury. It was tough to deal with. It was a decent amount of pain. I'll say that. It was tough, and it was just, you know, just the repetition of the season, week after week, the pounding on it, things like that. It took its toll on me, but, you know, made it through, got through it, and I'm excited. It's cleaned up. It's good to go now, and I'm excited to be healthy and come back at full strength and play a season healthy.
It's such a cliche thing to ask for people like us, but the motivation from how last year went, you talked about, you know, just being disappointed or not happy with it. Like, just how much motivation does that provide throughout the offseason, do you think?
It's the best motivator you could ask for. You know, the way the bowl game went, the way some of the things went at the end of the season, it's the best motivation when you feel that pain, that disappointment, because we had such high expectations, not just from the fans, but for ourselves as a team. We have very high expectations. So that's the best motivator you can have in the offseason, is something like that, something that painful, losing, going out that way. So that's the best motivation you could ask for. And I think we'll bounce back better than we could have.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Gregory Hall, go ahead.
Ray, as you were weighing your options and looking at your professional opportunities, did you receive any sort of feedback from people at that level about your game that kind of led you to coming back and maybe things you needed to work on or get better at?
Yeah, I received feedback and what they thought, and I agree with it. I think some of the things I had issues with were related to medical. That's not an excuse or anything like that, but I think if I can get some things figured out and get my body back to what it was and even better than what it was before, I think I can change some opinions on some of the feedback that I got. But I got some good feedback. I got some feedback that wasn't good, and I agree with it. I take it, and I take it as motivation and stuff that I need to improve on.
Are there any specifics that you can share as far as like maybe working on first step, getting around switches, anything like that?
Like specific, just my ability to run and be a disruptor wasn't the same. My ability to really get like my radius of where I could run and things like that before wasn't what it was. So that was one of my big, and I agreed 100% with that. And that's something that I took pride in, being a guy that played through the whistle, was always around the ball. So that's something that I really want to be a part of this year, kind of work on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, gang. Is that all we have for Ray? You guys good? Looks like it. Well, Ray, glad to have you back. I'm sure these guys will enjoy visiting with you throughout the year. Thanks, everybody, for hopping on, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.